Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first ever FIBA Basketball Champions League final down. I'm your host, Dionis Sarvadinos from Eurohoops.net, and I'm pleased to join. I'm joined by the one and only FIBA's expert, Igor Tsurkovic. Hello, Igor. Welcome.
I gotta say kudos on the execution of the last name. I know that everything that has a ch
I
in it,
practiced it. I practiced it.
yeah, everything that has a ch in it is a problem for all Greek people. So kudos to you. It was
Yeah,
a good job, good job. It's
yeah,
Churkovic. Yeah,
yeah. Are you excited that basketball is back?
yeah. I mean, I watched the two games, the two remaining games that we had in the round of 16, and it just felt like the rest of the season was a century ago. Like
Yeah,
I really don't know what to expect and everything, but I'm like a little kid. Like I'm so excited because as crazy as it's gonna be for all of us, you can't imagine how crazy it's gonna be for the teams. Like I
yeah,
think every single player on every single team thinks, okay, this is a chance to win a major European trophy and bring home some cash and
yeah.
enjoy the tournament, and the lights, the stage, and everything that's gonna happen in Athens.
Yeah, so obviously these shows that we're gonna do, they're gonna be eight shows for the eight teams in the Basketball Champions League Final Eight tournament. We're gonna start with the hosts with AEK Athens. We know that FIBA and the Basketball Champions League competition have and are working hard in order to have a safe competition here in Athens. Uh, Obviously, all necessary and precautionary measures have been taken, will be taken throughout the tournament in order to assure the safety of the players and everyone involved in the tournament. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Ike. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Ike?
I mean, as a Croat, the first thing that comes to mind to any single Croat when you mention Ike isn't related to basketball. It's Marko Livaja and the soccer team Ike
Yeah,
and his positive craziness, as we like to call it over here. But on a more serious note, like that Final Four that we had 2 seasons ago, it was one of the craziest experiences I've ever seen live, first place.
yeah,
Like I mean, I've been to World Cups, I've been to the Olympics, to various Eurobasket events, but that craziness of 20,000 people and the whole weekend that happened with, like, Friday was the semifinals game and Saturday was the soccer team, Livaya and guys
yeah,
celebrating the league title. And Sunday, the finals, it turned out to be like a 3 day party for Ike. And I mean, it was something I get the chills when I think about it. Like
yeah.
one of the most intense atmospheres that I've ever been around.
The question is, can they repeat? Can they repeat that this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough because we don't know a whole lot that's going on with the teams, with all of the teams, not just Dyke, but the players that they've got, the experience that they've got. I see them with their home court advantage. I see them as the main favorites to go
Hmm.
on and win another title.
Yeah. So to refresh everyone's memory, Ike finished second in Group B. What you said seemed ages ago behind the Hapoel Jerusalem. They beat Bonn twice in the round of 16, and they're gonna play Nürnberg in the quarterfinal. What do you expect of that matchup against Nürnberg?
Yeah, first of all, like this wasn't your usual BCL Ike kind of run to the playoffs because even when they were champions, they had a lot of drama surrounding it. A lot of late game shots,
Yeah,
clutch shots made by Shakota, by Kevin Punter, Manny
Kevin Panther.
Harris, and everybody. Yeah, uh, this time around, it was all like smooth sailing. It was just a dominant performance. Even in the round of 16, they swept the Bond. They didn't leave them a chance to do anything. So um, they gotta be loaded with confidence heading into these games, especially the one against Nimburg, because when you look on paper, Nimburg are like they had a really good season both domestically and in the Basketball Champions League. They put together 27 wins in a row in all competitions before the
Well,
season started. So that tells you, I mean, even if you're playing backyard with your friends, you cannot win 27 times in a row by accident. Nimburg is a serious team, but
yeah,
they lost Zach Hankins, who was their starting center. They lost Jaromir Bohacic, which was like a lefty swingman who could do it all by himself, one of their leaders, and they got some new faces. So it's gonna be. I mean, if we were still in the old format, I would say it was like 50-50. But this time around, I'm seeing Ike as the hot favorites in that one, like
Yeah.
75-25 when it comes to percentages.
Yeah, you talked about new faces. Ike has some new faces as well. Tyrese Rice headlines the transfer market of of this summer actually, and he's going to be joining us in about 10 to 15 minutes. But let's talk a little bit about Ike's transfers this off season with Tyrese Rice bringing in Yannick Moreira. What did you make of the signings that they made prior to the BCL Final Eight?
Yeah, so I was born in 1986, so I'm about to be 34. And every time a team signs a player and I watch if he's older or younger than me, then I can judge if the team is, to put it politically correct, experienced enough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And let's just put it this way: I would be one of the youngest guys on the AEK team. So
yeah,
they have Marcus Slaughter, who is 35. They have Matt Lojeski, who is 35. And Nikos Zizis is 37. Like Maciul is also
yeah,
35. Pete Langford 37. So they got guys who know how to win, and I mean it's gonna be fun to see them. But the biggest signing is Tyrese Rice because nobody knows how to win championships quite like
yeah,
Tyrese
yeah.
Rice.
And with that, we bring in Johnny Askounis from Eurohoops. He's Ike's expert. He knows pretty much everything about the team. Yeah, John, let's
Hello.
stay in that page and talk about Tyrese Rice and Ike's new transfers. How did you view the signings that they made this offseason?
Ike focused on this Final Eight tournament, especially with Rice. They signed him for the tournament, for this tournament, with an option to extend. It's what you guys were saying. They believe experience will be key. It's something that could happen in this kind of tournament in the beginning of the season after such a long break.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought in players like Tyrese Rice, like Matt Lojeski. Moreira is also fitting in nicely in the preseason. It looks good on paper, but as again you said, the teams aren't tested. They're going. It's practically a preseason key tournament.
Yeah,
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna, but it's exciting at the same time because in 5 days a champion will be crowned.
yeah.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the preseason results. What did you make of the performances so far that Ike has played? And they played 5 games already against Panathinaikos, against PAOK, Peristeri, some really good Greek teams. What did you make of the
If
performances?
for a moment we forget the situation we are all in with the coronavirus, it looks like a normal preseason. AEK has their games; they're getting into a rhythm. That's the point now. The same goes for the other teams. AEK will have the home court advantage even without the fans. It's going to be an advantage, especially at this stage. And
Hmm.
but you can't know for sure. Nybrook, you went down the history lane moments ago. They played a couple of seasons ago. Nybrook won in Athens with fans and everything. So why can't they just win again? Especially under these circumstances, they're not coming. They're going to come and they have their own aspirations to advance.
Yeah, John, we mentioned a lot of the new signings and their age, especially. And we have a saying over here like, if you have four players over 30 in your locker room, it's a ticking time bomb. So, what do you think of the team chemistry in AEK with all the new guys coming and so much experience for coach to handle?
It's going to be a tough go on the final eight, but the experience, the veteran players coming in, can hold the team in one with one goal, and I guess that's the plan. I could take this experience and use it in its advantage. I don't think the team chemistry issues, which are always in the beginning of the season, will be bigger or smaller than any of the other 7 teams. All the teams are going to go through those woes, and whoever gets them better or is in better shape, or even luck could come and play, will win the trophy.
John, who do you think is the player that really interests you in order for you to watch in the BCL tournament for AEK?
It's of course Rice. He's going to be they're going to live and die with Rice. That's the whole point. They have retained Langford, who is a very experienced player.
Yeah.
Mats Hulis and Nico Zis, of course. But Rice will be the main difference from last year. And if he goes the way according to plan, they are the favorites to go all the way. I could say that.
Yeah, following AEK all season long, did it seem weird to you that there was no drama, that they were so dominant in the early stages of the competition? There was no need for Shakota to hit a last second shot and no need for some other players to do the same.
It looked like a better stage team throughout the competition. It looked that they could go until the Final Four. But here is, if they played Nybrook in March and April when they were planning initially to play, the Nybrook would have the home court advantage. They would need to win in Czech Republic to advance. It's a different situation now, but it doesn't really matter if you get it down. AEK could use this home court advantage and to its favor, as I said before.
Yeah, so obviously everybody knows that AEK's home court is especially an advantage for every time of year, especially during these times in the coronavirus. But what did you make of the weaknesses of the team? If you could pinpoint any weaknesses.
The roster is packed right now, and on the roster I can't see some kind of weakness from 1 to 5. It's how they're going to match up. It's how the other teams are going to react to AEK's game, and it's going to go from there. It's unique. The whole situation is unique. You really can't plan. You really can't make a plan. Teams AEK will know very little about Nybrook coming into the game in a couple of weeks. They're gonna go on the go. How they're gonna react, how the other teams can react. It's gonna go down to matchups. AEK has a deeper roster, of course, from Nybrook, but it's 40 minutes. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, I think it will be very, very hard to predict any outcomes in this kind of tournament, especially that the fact there are only one games, elimination games all the way.
The point is, Nybrook, if you see it from their point, they have most players from the Czech national team, so they have experience in single elimination tournaments. Yeah. The same goes for AEK head coach Elias Papadodourou with the junior Greek teams, national teams. He has also experience, and that could come into play too. How they will use this experience into this tournament. And the first game is always tricky, even without coronavirus. We've seen in the World Cups and Eurobasket, after the group stage, the most upsets come in the first round following the group stage. So if you put that into context, anything could happen in this pairing and the other pairings. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting combination of a preseason feeling with key games.
Do you think that the pressure of expectations could hurt AEK? Like, everybody is now pointing their finger to AEK. You have the home court advantage, you have the star players, you have the experience. Do you think that it could create like a pressure kind of situation for them, especially when Nymburk are coming pretty much relaxed this game?
You're exactly right. AEK's goal is to win the final 8. It's clear. However, the effort they made into hosting the tournament, I think the first goal is to complete the schedule without issues, without problems, and winning the final 8 will be a bonus, an added bonus. I don't really think it's going to be the pressure like it's going to be so intense to win it all. Of course, the goal is to win the final 8, and it's 3 games away for every team, including AEK. And I can't believe these players that are gathered will have a problem handling the pressure, which will be limited, in my opinion.
So you don't think there is any pressure in star players like Keith Langford, Tyrese Rice, and especially Coach Lias Papatheodorou?
I just want to say that I think the pressure would be bigger if it was if it wasn't for the coronavirus pandemic. It's just getting basketball back is exciting itself. Of course, all teams want to win, including AEK, and AEK on paper looks stronger. So that's my point. It's not as big as pressure as it would be last May, for example.
Yeah.
So experienced players could handle it.
Yeah. What was the situation like with the coronavirus and AEK? Has it affected the team? Were there any cases?
AEK training camp was affected. They had a case when they were up in Yanina, and they had to return to Athens. But it looks better now. You never know what's going to happen. They're going to go into the Basketball Champions League Final 8 under the precautions, and everything we hope is going to go according to plan. And that's I could go through that, went through the case.
And then one final question before we let you go and bring in Tyrese Rice. So what do you make of AEK? Is the championship or bust? Is it what's your expectations for the tournament? Like if you could make a prediction.
If you pick out one team to win the tournament, it could be AEK. The players, the coaches, the management understand this, and they have to go all the way. But I believe that hosting a tournament without issues and getting basketball back on track, and after all this long hiatus is even more important than winning the title, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you so much for your information and everything that you brought in.
For having me.
We'll let you go.
Okay.
And bring in Tyrese Rice.
Yeah, looking forward to that happening because we got a lot of questions for the guy who was the MVP of everything that he ever played in, basically, and won everything that he ever played in.
Yeah.
And I'm especially excited to see, like, AEK have one set play in their playbook where they run 1 and 2 pick and roll with what's now going to be Tyrese Rice and Keith Langford, and that's going to cause a lot of mismatches and everything.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see a couple of lefties try and go and handle everything.
Well, let's bring on the man of the hour. Yeah, we're waiting on Tyrese. Hello, Tyrese. How are you?
What's going on, man? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, how are you, and how do you feel about basketball being back?
I'm good, man. Basketball being back is great. It's great. I think it's great for everybody, not just the players playing, but just the people. Give them something to look forward to. Something to do. During this pandemic, something positive. So, it's a great thing.
Hey Tyrese, welcome to the show. Got a question for you about the Final 8 itself. Like, this is going to be a crazy tournament. You're playing only the elimination games. How does it feel? You usually excelled in those kind of games throughout your career. Are you excited to go on and have another trophy to your illustrious career?
Man, if God willing, if we can, raise the trophy, again, that would be, ideal. That would be the most special thing. But, you just prepare yourself for these moments. It's crazy that this moment comes so early in the year, but, you got to stay ready. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, and, you'll be fine.
So obviously against you're playing against Nymburk in the quarterfinal. How do you think that it's an advantage given the fact that you're going to be playing in Athens and you'll only meet them once? How different will it be given the fact that they would have themselves an advantage if coronavirus situation hadn't occurred and you played in a 3-game series?
It's going to be difficult anyway. There's a lot of things that come with playing at Athens. It's not only us being at home and, being in our comfort zone. It also means that the expectation is much higher. So, it's different things that come with it. And we all know that it's basketball and it's one game. So whatever can happen in one game, we've seen it done many, many times. I was a part of, something that, there was a one-time experience and it turned out great for me. So, in one game, anything can happen.
You're going to be playing in Oaka arena that you're really familiar with. I'm not going to go into your season with Panathinaikos, but before that, you were actually the guy who sent Ike home in Oaka. So how does it feel to have like Oaka as your home court now with Ike fans behind you?
It's different, man. It's very different. The message that
Has anybody stopped you on the street and said like, "Why did you do that to us, man?"
Coach say something to me all the time. Every time I shoot a floater in practice, he'd be like, "That damn floater," like so it's like but it's just different being on the opposite side right now, man. The love and the message that you receive now was totally different from what I was getting about a year and a half ago. But it's all good. It's all in the game, and we're here now with the same goal.
The fact that the team is preparing for a whole season during the preseason, and the fact that the first tournament is going to be probably the most important one of the whole season for Ike. How do you feel about that? How weird is it?
It's very weird. It's different. I mean, nobody's ever had to do this before, so it's a new experience. But at the same time, if we're able to come out and play good and win a championship early, you build that pedigree from the start. So I mean, it could make for a great advantage moving on, because when you have championship experience and you've already won a major championship in the beginning of the season, you know what it takes to get another one. So it's something that you can definitely build on.
Yeah, a follow up on that. Sorry, Gore, and then I'll let you go. How has the preseason been for you, going up in friendly games, playing against your former team, Panathinaikos? I think you're playing them tomorrow as well. How does it feel? How does it feel going up against all the Greek teams during that time of year?
Tomorrow will be my first time playing them. Last time I had just got there that day, so I just went to the game and watched. But it'd be fun. It'll be fun to go out there and compete against old teammates, old friends, stuff like that. The coaches, we have very good relationships, so it'd be fun to go out there and play against those guys, and playing against other Greek league opponents. It's getting better. Like it's preparing us for what we have coming up in front, and it can't get better than that with the preparation.
You signed a highly unique contract in today's basketball. You're basically there for the Final 8 tournament. How did that happen? Like a short-term deal?
Honestly, I didn't think about going to play basketball. That wasn't even on my mind, especially with all the pandemic going on. Like, I honestly, I thought it was over. You know what I mean? So for them to come to me with this, with this type of contract, with this type of deal, and with the opportunity to win a championship, and not only win a championship, but play with one of my great friends in Nico Zizis, and that was just, it kind of put it over the top, for me, and along with my son being in virtual school. So, it made the decision, a lot easier. It would have been very, very much more difficult had he been in school.
Yeah, many American players though, and close friends from past teammates as well, were texting you through the summer, were tweeting about you not retiring. You gave them one more month, but my question is, do you feel that these are the final games of your career? So whatever happens, you're gonna call it a career, or would you see yourself re-signing and possibly playing one more year? Because the fans, everybody wants to see that.
Yeah, and please don't retire.
man, to be completely honest with you, man, it would be very difficult for me to play an entire season, just from everything that's going on, um, stuff that I have going on back home with the family, with the businesses, all this stuff going on. So it'd be very difficult to play a whole season right now just because of what's been started. But I won't rule it out.
Hmm.
I thought that my career was done after when
Yeah.
this pandemic hit, and we here right now. So I won't rule it out.
So whatever happens, if you end up winning the title with Ike, you would see yourself at least hoping to play 1 year if everything works out.
Can't see, we can see, but it would take some time. It would take some time in between. It
Yeah.
won't be one of those just because we won the title, we keep playing type of thing. It won't be that. We can win the title or not win the title. And my feeling is gonna be the same as far as going on with the rest of the season.
Yeah. Igor?
Uh, we've talked a lot about Ike's experience during this show.
Yeah.
How much will that come in handy in a tournament like this, like single elimination games? And you've got guys like yourself, like Keith Langford and Nikos Zizis, who won so much stuff in your careers. Is your experience going to be the key factor, the X factor for you to win it all?
Um, it's gonna be a main factor, that's for sure. I'm not sure what the X factor is gonna be. I'm not sure who the X factor, is gonna be, but us having experience is definitely an advantage. We've had, let's say, we got maybe 5 or 6 guys who all played in very very big games. I think we have more EuroLeague experience than half of the EuroLeague teams. So it's that experience always helps when the times get rough. That experience always helps when it's time to make the right play, make the right decisions. Um, Keep yourself level headed when other team goes on runs. It always keeps you intact and keeps you close, close knit as a group when you have that type of experience.
Hmm. Before you came on the show, we had Jonas Kunis on, who's Ike's expert on pretty much he gives us insights, he gives us information on the team. He's been following you guys all season long. And he told us, and pretty much everybody says that you guys are one of the best to win the competition. Um, do you feel that this type of, I don't know, does that put extra pressure on you going into the competition?
Um, I think it's always pressure. When you're considered one of the better teams, it's always pressure. You're one of the considered the better teams playing in your own gym, in front of your own people, in your own city. It's pressure comes with that alone. Even if we weren't the favorites, it's some pressure that comes with that. So I mean, you rise to this. There have been times that all of us have been favorites in tournaments. There have been times when we're being underdogs in tournaments. So it's just about staying level, focusing on the task at hand, and pursuing it with everything you have.
Mhm. Igor, do you have any other questions that you may want to ask Tyrese?
Yeah, just one last question that's gonna go into a little bit of the playbook of Ike because we've seen Ike run a lot of 1 and 2 pick and roll with Keith Langford, trying to use
Uh-huh.
the mismatch and post up.
Isolations. Uh-huh.
Yeah, have you tried it out? Are we
Uh,
allowed to get excited about probably two of the best left-handed
That 1-2 punch.
guys? Yeah, the 1-2 punch, the southpaw spike of
Yeah.
Bryson Langford.
hey, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, man. I won't say that it won't happen, but we ain't gonna rule it out either. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. I mean, super excited to see you guys play, especially yourself with everything you've done in your career.
Yeah,
I
thank you
appreciate
so
it, man.
much,
Thanks a lot.
Tyrese. And yeah, I guess we'll talk soon when the tournament starts.
For sure, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for having me.
Bye. Have a great night.
You too, man.
So Igor, yeah, let's make some predictions because predictions all the time are good. And
I
they,
mean,
they, they make fans.
I'm probably the worst person to talk about predictions because
Yeah.
the two things that I usually predict every single season is Hajduk Split are going to win Croatian Soccer League. It hasn't happened in
Yeah.
15 years. 15 years. And the
Okay.
other prediction is Portland Trailblazers are going to go to the finals. It hasn't happened in a century.
Yeah.
So, not the best person to talk about predictions. But instead of
Be- be-
going like, who's going to win it? Here's my prediction for it. Tyrese Rice is going to have such a good tournament that he's going to not retire. He's going to keep on playing.
let's hope that that actually happens. So you think that Tyrese is the player to watch for, at least from Mike, right?
Uh, yeah, and not only him, but also Keith Langford because of the season he had. He had almost 20 points per game. He was the second best scorer in all of the BCL, and
Yeah.
he had like he started the season with back-to-back 27-point games, and that just showed you how much he's still into basketball and how much he still wants to dominate. And he says it himself, like 36 is just a number. Now it's gonna be 37 is just a number because he just had his birthday. So
Yeah.
happy birthday, Keith Langford! I'm looking forward to seeing you go
Yeah.
and challenge for the MVP of the finals.
I think one other player that is really interesting to watch is Yannick Moreira, an under the radar move that Ike made this offseason. I was watching him play last year, especially because he's such a nice guy to watch, and he was putting up big numbers, especially in the Greek league. Like for example, he was a 20 and 10 guy every other night. And yeah, do you think that he could play a key role? Because especially in the preseason games, he's had some big games. Like yesterday, I think he had, or the day before, uh, he had 22 points and 15 rebounds against PAOK. He's really active.
We're talking about a guy who once scored 38 points in the FIBA Basketball World Cup. So Yannick Moreira knows how to score, and
Yeah,
he's probably had like some, I don't know how to call it, like misfortunes with injuries and clubs and everything. He kept on changing them, and his last season was super strong. And I was really happy to see him perform, and really happy for him to make the transition to AEK. And he's gonna have a role, but this entire AEK team is just like so perfectly put together. I mean, you have guys who can punish you in isolation, like Tyrese Rice and Keith Langford. And you have catch and shoot specialists like Matt Lejeski and
yeah.
Jonas Manciulis. Looking forward to see what Linos Chrysikopoulos can do. He was
The
basically,
veteran experience is there.
yeah, he was basically like Chrysikopoulos was important for them as sort of a point forward because he has the smarts, he has the IQ, and it's just a loaded team. And you can always ask questions about the defense with such teams that are loaded in offense, and especially with teams like that have so many 30-plus-year-olds. But with Marcus Slaughter in there, they can do whatever they want because
Yeah,
Slaughter, he may be a bit slower and he might not be flying all the way to the top of the backboard, but he's got the smarts. He seems even more intelligent now in defense than ever before. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a tough team to beat. And like Nimburg have their own system, which is running perfectly for a number of years. They haven't changed even when they went through their coaching change from Ginsburg to Amiel. The system basically stayed the same,
hmm,
and they've got a young and interesting point guard that came out of Weber State, known, of course, for Damian Lillard and Jeremy Senglin. So you can see what kind of a profile, like a scoring point guard.
yeah,
He's a lefty and he's a new guy, and it's gonna be tough. Like
yeah.
that to me,
We'll
it's
talk
a
about
surprise about yeah.
we'll talk about Nürnberg next week also, because we will have obviously for every team a show about the specific team. You didn't. The only guy you didn't mention from Mike is youngster Nikos Rogavopoulos, who has been playing really well lately, and he's given some opportunities as well. I think he could also be an interesting guy to watch in the tournament if he gets some playing time.
Yeah, here's like this is where I got it all wrong. Like I went to the under 18 European Championship in Volos last summer, and
Yeah.
he did end up in the All Star 5. But I had my doubts. I was thinking like, yeah, he's kind of stuck in between. Like he's
Hmm.
not really a two, not really a three, not really a four. And then like how much difference a couple of months can make with the
Yeah.
senior team.
Yeah.
Like he played against, I think it was Anvil, and he played like legit minutes as a
Hmm.
starter. as a first guy off the bench, and he had like 15 points.
Yeah, I think he scored 15.
Yeah, so he's for sure an exciting prospect. Like, that Ike locks him down with Moraitis on long-term contracts. So I'm guessing these kind of games, these kind of teams with so much experience are just another building step for them to take over the team once.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets some playing time, but for sure he'll be exciting to watch if he plays because of the talent is there. The
Yeah.
talent is there. We'll see if he can play and give some valuable minutes to Ike down the stretch in some very very important games, even at the start of the season. Yeah. Igor, if you don't have anything else to add, I think that's pretty much it. I think we talked about pretty much everything. The new signings of Ike, the best players, the players to watch, the veteran leadership that you brought on. You talked about Matsiulis, Lodzeski, every player that Ike has that can bring that veteran leadership. And then we also had Tyrese on, who basically didn't quite say that after that he's retiring. So we still have some hope that maybe he can play one extra season.
Yeah, I mean, we've touched on all of this and we've talked for like 38 minutes now. So I think everything is covered with Ike, and looking forward to see them finally play a basketball game in front of their own crowd, in front of their own arena, and everything
Yeah.
that's going to go on. Hopefully for them, they're going to repeat the success of 2 years ago.
Yeah. Next week we're gonna have on some other teams as well. We're gonna cover all 8 teams before the start of the competition. We're gonna bring some more experts regarding the team that we're gonna have on. We're gonna have player guests as well. So stay tuned. Igor, if you don't have anything else to add,
Sign
that
us
was it.
out, man. Sign us out.
Yeah. So thank you for joining me. And it was the first ever Basketball Champions League Final 8 countdown. Until next time, I'm your host Dionis Ravadinos, and I was joined by the FIBA expert Igor Tsurkovic. So thanks again, and we'll talk probably on Monday. Thank you.